This is a devlog for a Lethal Company mod pack I'm putting together. It's called Trophy Hunters, and it's linked in the description along with a list of all of the mods in the pack. Anyway, here's some of the development process for Trophy Hunters Build 3. Builds 1 and 2 had no devlogs and were substantially different to Build 3, and don't really exist anymore. I began developing this pack a while ago when I first got into Lethal Company. The concept of the mod is that it's based Lethal Company, but instead of your main method of income being finding and selling scrap, it's hunting and killing creatures. Broadly, the harder they are to kill, the more money the corpses sell for. I also have other big plans that vastly change from the base game, but those won't be realized for quite a while. It was in the initial development phase that I made builds 1 and 2 and learned that modded Lethal Company is actually pretty fun if you choose your mods with intention rather than just throwing a bunch of random mods together with no theme or purpose. For this pack, my goal is to have all of the mods contribute to the fundamental gameplay, which is selling corpses. It relies on the Sellable Bodies mod to make killing creatures and selling their corpses the primary source of income for a run. It will also be dependent on the Lethal Progression mod to make regen possible, making it much easier to kill more creatures within a day. Returning to this pack, I had actually completely lost the initial versions, and I had to rebuild it from memory, which included redoing my config settings, so I spent several minutes on that. I initially went to Hive, also known as Asteroid 14. It's a moon by Magic Wesley, who is a great mod creator, and while the moons are great, they do have some lore within Wesley's series of mods, which is not relevant to my pack, and I will see if I can config the mods or make my own mods which remove it. I quickly discovered that a good quota 1 strategy would be to go straight to the company building, buy a shovel, then go to Hive, get a little bit of loot so you can get your regen upgraded, and then kill hoarding bugs and masks until midnight. This had one problem though, it was far too good. I made the value of the sold bodies very high, because it is supposed to be a better method than finding scrap, but each hoarding bug was upwards of 200, and I'd say you could reasonably kill 10 of them in one day, and that's $2,000. I intend to tweak the values of different creatures' corpses to reflect both their difficulty to kill and their difficulty to find. There are a few corpses which have extremely high value, namely forest giants and old birds, because they are possible to kill but barely. And actually, I'm not sure if it's possible to kill an old bird. I also went to Asteroid 13, another Magic Wesley moon, in which I killed 4 hoarding bugs, but their weight was a huge issue, so I decreased the weight of nearly every enemy, along with setting all of their values to default, which I will further tweak in future updates. I also struggled with combat. I save scum throughout this video, and I suspect I will do so in future videos, but I do intend to periodically do legit games to make sure this pack isn't too ridiculously hard. The other issue is that this pack is super early stages, and I don't know how the later quotas will go at all, or what the strategy will be. At least I didn't, but after recording a few games with Danny...
Who's the little guy? Holy crap, that's who it is! Ah! But oh no!
You know what they say.
You know what they say?
I went through the config and changed some of the settings around on Titan. And now I have Titan as our theoretical boss moon. With a max size multiplier of 0.1 and a max indoor power of 35, it is hopefully going to be absolute chaos in there. Checking to see if my Titan changes had gone through, I actually couldn't quite tell. All I found was a mask and a Nutcracker, and the mansion did seem smaller than normal, but maybe that was just me. Either way, I'm sure there is a way to get what I want, it's just that I may not have it right now. Secondarily, I want to have a moon with a relatively high chance of spawning a Nutcracker and absolutely nothing else. This will be a major stop on one's journey to get a shotgun and battle on Titan. I chose to make that moon experimentation, partially because I liked having the first and last vanilla moons be the most important, and also because experimentation is often overlooked, and basically the only time an experienced player would go there in vanilla would be for a special speedrun category, like Museum or Iron Man. This makes it somewhat subversive. In the files, I configured experimentation to have an extremely high chance of spawning a Nutcracker, but I also made its outdoors extremely dangerous, having a power limit of 12 and very high odds of spawning dogs, giants, old birds, and sandworms. However, I think due to the way experimentation is, these spawns are weighted to happen much later in the day. I'm talking like 9 PM or later. I have no idea how to fix this, and I suspect it might involve going into the actual game's code rather than the lethal level loader config, and I have no idea how to code anything. It did, however, appear that I successfully made Nutcracker spawn a lot on this moon. I suspect in actual gameplay, your Titan loadout would be 1 shell in your custom slot, a shovel, and 4 shotguns, plus maybe a flashlight and walkie, since they also have the reserve slot. Shortly after this, I thought more about the health regen mechanic. I initially decreased the max level from 20 to 15, where 20 would give you 1 point of health a couple of times every second. But after considering further, I realized that even a max of 20 probably isn't enough to survive on Titan, in my ideal where it really channels that chaos and constant battle. I did, however, make it harder to level up just to keep it a little more balanced. Though we did have some silly deaths, in my gameplay with Danny, it definitely seemed like the pack would be a little too difficult, especially for more casual players than us. I wanted to do a full day on Titan where I played as though it were a real run, and once again, I think the mansion size changes did not go through. This place is huge, and while it was full of enemies, I didn't think it captured the intensity I was looking for. I tweaked a few more settings and returned to Titan, and it was still just too big. And then I realized I never actually applied the changes I made, but again, after applying them, it didn't work. The mansion was still huge, and I still suck. And there, I gave up. This is really more of an announcement video that I'm working on a cool thing. You can download this in its very unfinished state using the Thunderstore code in the description. I intend to work on this more over the coming months and maybe even years, but I can't guarantee any frequency of updates. I will try to aim for 1 a month, but I'm not compromising on anything to hit that goal. Also, as I said before, in the description is a full list of the mods and a full list of all of the changes I made for this version, as well as a Thunderstore code and a direct download for my instance, which should just make it a little easier to fix if the installation breaks. Anyway, that'll be it for this short little video, and have a good day.